welcome back to All Things Dope. My name is Chris Vargas, and it's here. Finally here, September 7th, the day of all news, getting the new iPhone 7. Also, we got the bigger news for me personally, which was the PS4 Pro. RIP to Neo. We've known you well. So I kind of want to just do a quick reaction of what I'm thinking about the actual news. Granted, it is amazing. Finally, we are getting 4K capable games on the PlayStation side. It is really nice. There are a lot of great things. The fact that now all PlayStation 4s will be HDR capable. They said coming into next week, actually there's going to be a firmware update to allow for HDR to be on all consoles, even the one that came out in 2013, the one that I have. Which is cool for me because I'll probably pass it over to either my son, or I might even trade it in and get the new one. Who knows? I'm still up in the air about it because I'm still up in the air about the entire game console myself. So let me kind of just give you guys a brief rundown of what we can expect in the PlayStation Pro, okay? So earlier today, they, of course, announced that they were going to be releasing the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's going to be launched on November 10th. Of this year, which is awesome, and then of course it's going to cost you about $399, so about $400. Okay, now this console, the way that they're selling it is to be a complementary piece to the PlayStation family that is right now. So the whole reason that they were working towards the PlayStation 4 Pro was because they really wanted to pursue 4K and HDR, which are the two biggest features of the PS4 Pro. And then, of course, during the press conference, of course, they showed off a lot of really cool-looking 4K games, and they look amazing. All of the games definitely are by far some of the beautiful games that I've seen. The problem is, though, and this is where we start getting into the negatives. The big negative for me, unfortunately, is the fact that they will not have a UHD Blu-ray player in the device. For those of you that don't know, right now, Sony, they're the ones that started the whole Blu-ray movement. So for them not to incorporate their own technology into this piece of console is ridiculous to me. They really, what were they thinking? Yes, I get it. There are actually a lot of things that they did to kind of cut down some cost of the actual making of the console. So I get it. And they're really pushing the 4K HDR streaming. The problem is, really the only thing that's out there is going to be Netflix and YouTube that are going to push 4K content to you streaming wise, right? Beyond that, you have to pick up the Blu-ray. Well, if I pick up the Blu-ray, now I don't have anything to play it on. Why? Because I'm invested in the PlayStation 4 Pro. So that for me as a home theater enthusiast, that is a big shot in the kids, unfortunately. That was not something that I was expecting. Definitely heartbreaking for me because, like I said, I was not expecting that at all. You would think for the guys that make the disc that they would want to incorporate it. I get it. Xbox One S right now is selling for $299, but they're selling for $299 for good reason. They have to. They're going to take a loss so that they can make it up in user base. And I'm sure that after this announcement, they may gain a couple bit more. Because that, for me personally, again, as a home theater enthusiast, that's what I'm headed towards. I'm headed towards the UHD Blu-ray player. Because if it's already going to cost $300, I might as well get all this other stuff associated with it. There has to be a ginormous difference as far as the quality of the crispiness. Because that's one thing that they kept emphasizing, is that it's going to make it look way more crispy. Okay, hashtag Team Crispy, we're here for the win. But let's be real. Streaming 4K UHD, it is nice. Don't get me wrong. I've had one. I've owned one for a while. And I actually took it back because of the fact that the streaming was not very good. Especially, I mean, I have a lot of people on the internet in my home. My son, he's crazy on the internet. He's going to do whatever he can. He's watching videos, he's streaming YouTube while playing video games at the same time, and he's 6. Alright, so if that's what I'm going through, then of course my TV that's trying to pull UHD content down, it gets kind of choppy. And maybe it's just my internet. You know, maybe it's my internet connection. I'm not sure, but what I do know is that I would personally myself rather have the UHD Blu-ray player inside my console. It makes things way easier, way smoother. Plus, the thing about UHD streaming, and this is where it's going to get kind of nerdy, is that it's a compressed file as opposed to the actual Blu-ray. It's going to be all the data that you want, all the extra crispiness that you want, and there is a difference. It may not seem like it to maybe like the uninitiated, but I promise you there is a huge difference in HD quality. Now, I'd say like a huge difference, but there is definitely a difference, and you can tell when you're watching a Blu-ray versus when you're watching an HD stream. Mainly because a Blu-ray holds about 50 gigabytes worth of data. The compressed file is going to hold about 5 gigabytes worth of data. And so all of the crispiness loses its value when you stream it. So, just kind of nerd lesson there. For me personally, and this isn't like this for everybody, some people may not even care that there is no UHD Blu-ray player in the console itself. But for me, that's a huge, huge point that I wanted them to tackle, and they did not tackle it. Yes, thank you for the terabyte hard drive. But if I had to settle for 500 gigabytes and I got a UHD Blu-ray player, easily swapped out. Very easily. I don't know who was in that meeting when they decided, you know what? Let's not put in a Blu-ray player. That was a terrible idea. And it may be because of the fact that maybe they want to add one on later. Maybe that's how they'll do the graphical upgrade, that's how they'll do it. That's what Apple does. They know these features exist, but don't put it in their phones because they need something. They're holding back all the time for the next one. We'll put it in the next one so that they have a reason to buy it, which is why you're seeing this mid-cycle refresh on all the consoles. Because that's the world that they want to live in. They want to go and be selling these consoles every 2 to 3 years. They are heavily influenced by all the money that Apple's been making, that Samsung's been making, even the Nexus device has been making by refreshing every year, every 2 years. That's where these consoles are trying to go. And it makes sense for them from a business standpoint. It doesn't make sense for us as a consumer. And that's what, to me, I'll be honest, it sucks. I'm not very happy about that. Yes, extra crispy, always dope. As far as video quality, video game quality, there's a huge difference between HDR and regular HD. Huge difference. Visually, it is stunning to have an HDR display and to be able to have an actual video game that does that. I can only imagine. Right, I haven't seen it. I don't have an Xbox One, and I don't have an Xbox One S. And even if I did, they don't even have a game right now. They won't have one till about mid-October when Gears of War drops. So nobody really knows, as consumers, what HDR gaming really looks like. So we'll see. For me, is it a day one buy? Is it a go out there to GameStop right now, pre-order this bad boy? I'm going to say no. Simply because of the fact that the HDR streaming that they're talking about, that's going to be put into all the PlayStations, the one that I already have. So, and if that is the only way that it's really going to increase as far as video streaming goes, for me personally, I'm going to wait. There's going to have to be a game, which it does look like Call of Duty, as far as their HDR gaming may be worth it. But if you're in a situation sort of like me, I took back the Super UHD LG TV that I had. I took it back. The grays weren't as, or the blacks weren't as black as I wanted them to be. They were kind of gray. There was a lot of blooming going on. Again, this is all nerd talk, so. But a lot of these things, and these are things that it's hard to explain. It's something that you have to see for your eyes. I'll throw a picture up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about as far as blooming goes and as far as the blacks not being as black as they should be. But what it is essentially, for me personally, if I'm going to invest another $400 into an already system that I have and have set up, it's got to be a huge jump. I mean, it's like going from the Note 5 to the Note 7. There's not a lot of gap in between for anyone to really want to make that jump if they have the Note 5 right now. Now, if you have the Note 3 or the Note 4, easily, no contest, you should get the Note 7, right? That's the way smartphones work. So with these consoles, if you already have a PlayStation 4, it's not a huge jump because of all the other requirements that you need. You need a 4K HDR capable TV for you to see a difference. For those TVs, the 4K TVs with the HDR capability, them mugs are not cheap at all. They are pretty pricey. And if you're going to drop down some money, believe me, you're going to have to drop down not only $400 for this, but also at least another $1,500 just for a 4K TV with the HDR capability. If you want something that's going to be pretty legit. There are some other TVs right now that you can get cheaper, but there's a reason they're cheaper, right? So in the grand scheme of things, do I feel like you should upgrade to the PlayStation 4 Pro? If you have a 4K HDR TV, absolutely. Definitely no contest. But if you don't have that already, wait. Wait for a bundle. Wait for a sale. Wait, and I'd say definitely wait for a holiday bundle. See what they have to offer, but do not buy this thing by itself. Wait until there's something good that comes along with it, or wait to see if they last minute switch that out. It doesn't sound like they will though, because it's going to release on November 10th of this year. November 10th of this year, $400, PlayStation 4 Pro, could be yours. Will it be awesome? I'm sure it will if you have all the other things that are required to make it awesome. If you don't, so. They said that it doesn't matter if you had the 4K TV or not. They were still going to push graphical upgrades. Like you'll be able to plug in the console, and it will already figure out what is the best resolution for your device. That's awesome. But is it worth the extra $400? Probably not. If you could trade in your current PlayStation 4, get $200 off of it, then maybe. But if you don't plan on doing any of that, I might say wait. And that sucks because I've been waiting for over a month for this. I've been waiting for like 6 months, right? Since we originally heard it back in March that these were going to be the specs. These were going to be everything that's coming out with it. If it had the UHD Blu-ray player, absolute buy. But it doesn't. So for me personally, I'm going to wait until this gets bundled up with something. It has to be something incredible for me to buy it. Because right now, it's just not showing me enough. And maybe I'll feel differently if I see it in Best Buy, or they have one on demo and I actually play it. Maybe I'll feel differently, but for now, I don't have a dog in this fight for me personally, because I already own a PlayStation 4. So it's hard to jump up to the next one when it's not that great. Man, like I said, you may be in a different situation where it's not a thing. You got a Best Buy card, swipe that mug up. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Chris Vargas. I'm out. Peace.